ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. At the conclusion of the Torah, we have a different set of books that are part of the Bible. First comes the book of Joshua, Yehoshua, that describes the conquest of the land of Israel. Moses, is prevented from God from leading the Jewish people into the promised land, and his successor is Joshua. After Joshua's death comes a period that is called Shoftim, judges in Hebrew. My late teacher, Rabbi Soloveitchik, said that actually the book of Shoftim should be called leaders. Those judges are really leaders of the Jewish people. It was a very strange period of Jewish history. There were some leaders that were good, others that were not. The people, the nation was trying to come into being really in those days. There is a story there that says the following. There's a man by the name of Elimelech who has a leadership role in the Jewish people, but there's also a time of famine. So he decides to abandon the land of Israel, and he goes to Moab, is the name of the other land. He goes there with his wife and children. His wife is Naomi, and he has two sons, Machlon and Kilion. The story develops that Machlon and Kilion marry two women, Orpah and Ruth, and that this man Elimelech dies, and the two sons of Elimelech die as well. There is reason for these things. I'm not going to go into that. And the story continues that after 10 years, there's no more famine in the land of Israel. So Naomi, who is the wife of this Elimelech, decides she's going to return to her land. She's going to go back to the land of Israel. So she tells her daughters-in-law, this is my decision. So they say, we are going to accompany you. We want to go with you. So she says to them, listen, at my age, I'm not going to have any more sons for you to marry. What are you coming with me? Stay in your own home. So that this woman, Orpah, one of the daughters-in-law, decides to stay with her people. But the other one, Ruth, says, no, I want to go with you. As a matter of fact, she has an expression that is extraordinary. She says, your people, she says to Naomi, your people is my people. Your God is my God. Wherever you go, I will go. Extraordinary. You know, daughters-in-law usually don't get along very well with their mother-in-law. Sometimes with a father-in-law better, but with the mother-in-law, no. There are many stories about it. And yet here you see something altogether different. And this Ruth insists so much. She goes with Naomi back to the land of Israel. And eventually she marries a man by the name of Boaz. She becomes the ancestor of King David. She's an extraordinary woman. There is a book called the Book of Ruth in the Bible that describes this story that I'm telling you right now. What about Naomi? I think that she is an unsung hero of this story. Of course, we all appreciate Ruth, what she did, her expression. As a matter of fact, this is what you expect from somebody who converts to Israel. He should say, your God is my God, your people is my people. Because to be Jewish is not only faith in the God that Judaism teaches, in the traditions that Judaism teaches, it is also to become a part of the Jewish people. It's nationhood at the same time too. It's a combination of two things. It is very different from Christianity and Islam, where you can be in Iraq, you can be in different countries. As a Catholic, you can be in Rome, and you can be in the Vatican, and you can be in Brazil, you can be in Colombia. But in the case of the Jewish people, it's one religion and one nation. And this Ruth expresses it so well. But once again, I want to delve a little bit on this Naomi. I think that she is an unsung hero. Why? She followed her husband Elimelech, who went out of Israel because there was a lack of food. There was a famine. But the moment the famine ceases, she wants to go back to Israel. She probably learned already the Moabite language. She is there with two daughters-in-law who apparently are princesses in this land. She was already accustomed to it. Yet she has this longing for her own country. And what about the daughter-in-law that follows her? She must have been such an extraordinary person that the daughter-in-law is willing to follow her, insists in following her. So she must have tremendous moral character traits that are very important. I think here's what she teaches us also. On the one hand, she has Moabite daughters-in-law. She gets along very well with them because they both want to return with her. On the other hand, she never forgot her people. She never forgot the land that gave her birth. She never forgot the God of Israel. So I think that she teaches us something very important. We have to be open to the entire world. We have to have good relations with everybody. But on the other hand, we should never forget our Jewish origins, our Jewish traits, so that, in a sense, this woman, Naomi, is very modern. We live today in a very big world. You know, there are different cultures. We can relate with everyone. But on the other hand, at the same time, we have to be very loyal to our own origins, to our roots, to the Jewish people. So among the many unsung heroes in our history, I want to underline the name of Naomi. Because in Judaism, the woman plays a very important role also, starting with the matriarchs, even including in this period of judges, when the men were judges. There's one woman by the name of Deborah. She's a very important judge of that period. So that, in a sense, Naomi represents also our appreciation of womanhood, of a woman in Jewish history.